serious old, man.
Children, there you see Princess Charlotte and the great little Prince Louis, who always steals the show. I love Prince Louis, anything involving Prince Louis, who I predict right now will never grow up to be like, boo-hoo, I'm the spare, poor me.
Fingers crossed.
And then the other pictures, of course, of Prince George, who's the next heir after Prince William, just nailing everything. The photo ops were beautiful. They all looked like they were having a great time. They did look united. The couple looked in love. I mean, I have to say, Princess Kate looked amazing. She looked so incredibly royal, of course, given the garments that she was wearing. And you couldn't help but think of the bitter jealousy you just know Meghan Markle was feeling at home alone on her couch.
Absolutely. Because she wants the world to hate Kate. I have to say, though, I actually felt, Megyn, when it started to rain, when it poured with rain, and it really did, it bucketed down during the coronation. I thought they were the tears.
What?
Of Meghan Markle and Montecito watching the wall-to-wall coverage on American TV and thinking, actually, we lost because the Sussexes have lost. They thought this coronation was going to be a disaster. They thought it was going to flop, Megyn. Actually, more people tuned in to this coronation in the UK than tuned in to watch the
look at this. Somebody come look at this.
Wedding of Harry and Meghan. Now, look, we know King Charles is not perfect. I've been highly critical of the guy, okay, over the years. He's a globalist. He's wedded to this nut zero agenda, as I call it. Some connections to the World Economic Forum. He tends to wade into politics. But he has to succeed because if you're a royalist like I am, you have to believe that it's not just about the man, it's not just about the individual, it's about the importance of the institution. And Harry and Meghan thought that they were going to be able to destroy that in the 7 months since the late Queen's death, and they
hey, y'all, come look at this.
Failed. They point blank failed because this ceremony was a massive success. It's had huge international attention, but I can tell you here on the ground in the UK, it's managed to bring a divided country together over the past few days.
The latest stats were the streets were lined with 2 million people, 7,000 British troops, 100 million people watched on TV around the world. That's huge, 100 million.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How
people, and that puts the lie to this whole. She just didn't want to go, Dan, because you see what happens, according to Omid Scobie, their stenographer, is the cameras always find Megyn, and she really just thought, I'll sit this one out. That's an obvious lie. She's never seen a camera she doesn't want to put her face in front of, and certainly 100 million viewers would have lured that woman to any place on this earth. So what's the real reason she wasn't there?
Look, Megyn, you know what it is. She was going to be booed. And the problem is, she wasn't just necessarily going to be booed outside of Westminster Abbey. She may have been booed inside. And that was a prospect that she simply could not countenance.
Look, you did the tough thing during COVID. You paid your people and pulled your business through the pandemic. And now doing the tough thing could qualify you for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. Government funds are available to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. This is not a loan, and you don't have to pay it back. The program's complicated, but no one knows more about it than the CPAs and tax pros at covidtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and share a percentage of the cash they get you. Businesses of all types, including nonprofits and churches, can qualify, including those who took PPP loans, even if you had increases in sales. You did the tough thing for your employees during COVID. Let covidtaxrelief.org help get you up to $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org.
Constant referencing
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
to the fact that they believe they were driven out of here because of racism in Britain. What do you make of that debate?
That's absolute fallacy.
And you're from a mixed race background yourself.
Correct. I'm from a mixed race background myself. And while we're discussing the leaders of the UK, although I do think they're doing a terrible job, it's kind of hard for Meghan to say that the UK is a racist country when the leader of the UK is darker skinned than her and the mayor of London is darker skinned than her. And I am a person who's probably darker skinned than her, and I've never experienced any kind of bigotry against myself besides the fact I'm a straight male. I'll get bigotry for that before I'll get bigotry for my skin color. I think it's just a cop-out and her not wanting to be perspicacious and self-reflective enough to understand that she has attacked an age-old institution, and there are people who are very patriotic about that institution, and by attacking it and bringing a degree of distaste to it, there's going to be people who don't like her, and if you're a dislikable person, you can't just instantly stand up and say it's because of my skin color. It might be because of your actions and some of the things you've said.
I mean, I think there's probably no doubt she's had racism on social media because it's...
Who hasn't, Piers?
It's a
You probably have.
Well, as I said just now, I've had death threats on social media and no one seemed to care very much.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably inarguable. My issue with what they've both been doing is if you're going to make allegations against an institution like the royal family and the monarchy, you've got to actually provide...
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
some evidence. You can't just spray gun this thing out there and say, well, somebody was racist.
Yeah, and airing dirty laundry is never going to be respected by the populace, and being a tattletale is never going to be respected by the populace. And I think the problem with the modern world we're living in is a lot of age-old traditions are being destroyed in real time. It doesn't matter what the tradition is. Most of them are being eroded. And something like the British royal family, which has been around for a very long time, is an age-old tradition. One of the things holding the UK together, one of the last things we have, to sit and detriment it and to sit and insult it and to give away secrets from inside of it and try and paint a negative image of it is going to upset a lot of people.
He's serious old, man.
And you have to be prepared for that backlash. You can't say I've done things that upset people, but it's nothing to do with what I've done. It's purely because of my skin color. Also, it's kind of ironic that she's doing that because she's not particularly dark-skinned. It's kind of funny to sit here.
I mean, look,
watch her sit and say,
yeah,
race.
I think the truth is, I don't know what... Look, you can say that. I can't. The reality of it is, I just don't know what the specifics of the racism she says she's had, because we've not seen any evidence.
The universe is a funny place, Piers. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it, right? When I got canceled, when they attacked me unfairly, lied about me across the entire
Look at this.
mainstream media, deleted me from social media so I couldn't defend myself, and lied about me repeatedly, I could have stood up and said, it's because I'm brown. I didn't do that. I sat and said, okay, there's people who misunderstand my message. My message is a positive one. People misunderstand me. Let me self-reflect and understand that, yes, perhaps this said a long time ago was said in the wrong way. Perhaps this was misunderstood. Perhaps people don't understand this. I could have just copped out and could have just been refusing to self-reflect on any level and said, it's because I'm brown, that's why they did it.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
But that's not the mature way to be as an adult.
What did you think of the Jeremy Clarkson furore, where he wrote what I think most people, but including him belatedly after he'd published it and written the column, he did make an analogy from a Game of Thrones scene, which most people, I think, did find crossed a line and was deeply offensive. I think it crossed a line. What do you think?
Yeah, I understand why people feel that. But when you attack an institution as old as the British royal family, you're attacking patriotism in and of itself for one of the most respected countries, or previously most respected countries on earth, and you're going to have some visceral reactions. Perhaps Jeremy Clarkson
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
is too famous and too well-renowned to say those kind of things, but there's a lot of people who genuinely feel that way, and that's why he said it. And this is what happens when you attack age-old institutions in any country.
Should he have apologized?
That's a good question. It looks like he did. Personally, I think as a man, you should stand up, say what you mean what you say. I don't think you should ever apologize for anything you've ever said. Even me.
What if you say something truly very offensive and you actually do regret it?
If you truly regret regret it, then yeah, okay, you can apologize. But if at the time you meant it, then the best thing you can do is say, look, I've just changed my mind. I no longer feel that way. But at the time, that's how I felt. And I'm the person who says what he feels. And that's what I felt at the time. And I apologize that offended you.